Y'all see the title of this video. Today, we're talking about cheaters. They happen in our tabletop RPGs. Folks might skill roll, change a stat, or do something to give themselves an unnecessary advantage for their character. It happens in both online and in-person play, and it is always annoying. No one likes cheaters, especially when you're playing with the intent of having fun with your friends and family in a TTRPG. So, today I'll be discussing what does a tabletop role-playing game cheater look like, as well as some ways we can respond to cheaters both as players and game masters. And by the way, if you've stuck so far, feel free to like and subscribe for more of my awesome content. The question we need to first answer is, what does a cheater look like in a TTRPG like Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder or whatever the heck we're playing? I think a cheater can look like this. They are a player who rolls improbably high in their stats or characteristics. This PC has extra bonuses in a particular stat that shouldn't be there. They're forgetting to mark off resources when they are used and they're aware of that. They're actively getting the math wrong in their RPG, or are using things like weighted dice to roll higher numbers, especially for in-person games. Maybe the player character is lying about stats like their health, stress, or other attributes that might be important to character interactions and character survival. But where the heck does this behavior come from? Well, a player can have this idea that they have to win at an RPG, or a player might use metagame knowledge to inform their decisions without realizing that their player character might not know what that is. The player might also just not like to lose, or doesn't find joy in losing in any kind of situation. Or it could just be that some players like the thrill of cheating and the potentiality of getting caught. However, the real reason I talk about cheating is because the problem of cheating isn't the fact that it gives your character an advantage over the other players, but it gives your specific character unfair, unaccounted, and uncalled for advantage to ensure that they win or that some boon happens to you when you really didn't earn it. And if other players and the GM find out, or they have suspicions, then, well, this can cause resentment and negative feelings towards the cheating player, and generally make playing the game with this person not fun. So I recommend the first thing, especially if new players to the TTRPG fandom/hobby, is to talk with them. The best way to curb this behavior is to have a transparent conversation about what cheating looks like and what it does not look like. Address to the players what is going on and how you might feel if you catch or see someone cheating. Now, different players will respond differently if they're caught cheating or if they're suspected of cheating. Some will come shocked, while others will own up to it. You could also be entirely wrong in your assessment, or the player might be aggressive, boisterous, or just generally antagonistic to you as the GM or maybe player. In any and all of these cases, I recommend sticking to your gun and still trying to be respectful but transparent. For example, if you notice a player has a huge string of really high rolls, and this has been consistent through much of the game you've ran, you might want to ask them why they're getting such high rolls all the time. What is going on? Maybe even ask them to roll out in the open if, say, all the players roll privately. What matters is you explain your concerns and provide specific examples of the behavior that you find suspicious or concerning, and give them a chance to explain their actions and listen to their side of the story. And my final point with this one, never, and I mean never, solve these issues in game. Always solve them out of game. If there's an issue as game master or as a player, privately check in with the players and ask them and confront them about the issue. I think a second point is that you need to reiterate and set your boundaries. Cheating is a matter of breaking boundaries. It never hurts to check in with all of the players about their fun, struggles, and also their own personal issues in and out of game. This can be at a session 0 or in your mid-session break if that's something you do at your game. So it's important to make your own personal expectations and set them and be transparent about them. Maybe you can include that in your application for your next D&D game. Or maybe make this conversation a group activity when you're all sitting at the table together. Here are some questions you can even ask to get the conversation started. What are your thoughts on cheating in the game? What does that look like for all of you? By asking just those right questions, you can set the stage for what you should be expecting in your game, for both players and for yourself. But I do think there are some things players can do as well. And that looks like holding the other players at your table responsible as well. If you see a player cheating or something that is considered cheating, accident or not, say something to the player. No one likes cheaters, or people who do cheat in TTRPGs, and especially players who are playing fairly or honestly. This sucks because the honest players get sidelined and are disregarded, or their actions feel less impactful when the cheating player hogs all the attention. Furthermore, the game master is already dealing with world building, creating encounters, creating plot lines, creating maps, making tokens, miniatures, and a lot of other administrative tasks. The least a player can do is to address and keep in check the other players at the table if they have the mental and emotional fortitude and energy for that. And GMs, you are not always responsible for catching or watching for cheaters all the time. You are balancing a lot of crud, world building, encounters, several NPCs, scheduling, hosting the event, and so much other crap that I mentioned just recently in the player section. So adding on cheating is just another pain in the ass and more paperwork. The worst part to cheating in a TTRPG isn't the mechanical things that affected one's character sheet. It's the emotional weight it holds on the table for you and the other players. Knowing there's a cheater at your table means everyone is on edge, either A, looking for the cheater, B, expending their energy trying to beat the cheater, C, players might feel inadequate, or GMs might continue getting frustrated as tension continues to build, or D, you're all expending energy trying to figure out if the player in question is cheating or not, especially if it's not obvious. So, if all of these things are happening, here's an easy solution to all of these problems if you've tried everything so far. Kick the suspecting player out. Your stress is not worth it if you're not having fun and this player is causing more stress and anxiety. Period. Get them the heck out of your game and find new players. I know it might seem very rude or crass to say this, but there's nothing worse than having that one player that gives you anxiety or stress. And I don't want that for you as a game master or player. So cut your losses and kick that obnoxious cheating or suspected cheating player out of your game and find someone else. What do you think? Am I full of bullcrap? Or do I have a point about cheating in the TTRPG community? Let me know down below in the comment section. And as always, I'm your average everyday queer host, Blurry Disposition. Hope you all have an awesome day.